How's it going, guys? Bob from Bobot's Trains. What do we have today? Package from, Lionel Service Department. Cool. Let's see what we got. Lots of packing peanuts is what we got. All right, let's check it out. We have, cool, finally the motors came in, the smoke fan motors. 3 of them. Part number 610-1154-130. Been waiting for those for a long time. Bulbs. Oh, these are the screw-in bulbs for the yard tower lights. Okay, got one of those to replace. And this is SD70 front lighting. Front lighting PCB or a board for the Norfolk Southern SD70M-2 that had the dim lighting on it. I was thinking about swapping that out and see if it made a difference. Okay, a couple projects. So maybe we'll pick one or so and get started. You guys hear that? That high-pitched whine? That's the smoke fan motor on the Genset. Yeah, that's not a good sound. This thing only has 15 minutes of runtime on it. I think what I'm going to do is pop the shell and see if I can put a spot of oil on the smoke fan motor. I guess if that doesn't work, then I do have the replacement motors and I can put one in. So let me get working on it and see what we come up with. Okay, I never had this guy open before, so this should prove to be a real fun experiment. It looks like 6 obvious screws here. They're not very tight, I'll tell you that much. Man, I can't believe these things would have stayed in there very long. The 2 screws in the rear here were longer in length. Wait, I remember this. That's right, I had one of these apart before. I mean, it was a long time ago, but let's see if I can remember. In order for this coupler, the coupler's hooked to the truck, and in order for that to get out of here, the one thing is you got to take these tiny, tiny screws out. Hope you don't drop them. So that this little bar comes free here. Let's see if I can do it so you can see it. Yeah, see, that little bar comes out of there. Okay, now that'll let that come free. Something tells me there's more to it, but boy, you know, this does have a die-cast shell, so it's a little more solid, but I'll tell you, I hate these things. There's never anywhere to grab them. You always end up bending the handrails. There's never any place you can grab them nice. And again, I'm trying to show it for the camera. All right, I'm gonna set it down. See if we can work this apart. It never just slides off the way it's supposed to. Ah, yeah. Okie dokie, baby. The light up here, so there's wiring going to the light, into the cab, back here to the rear light, on all these little connectors, your motor. Oh, one motor. Little board, another board. Wiring's not too bad in this one. A while ago I opened up an MTH and remarked how the wiring looked pretty neat and tidy. This one doesn't look too bad. There's 3 smokestacks. So there's one big funnel and one smoke unit in the middle here. And it's holding that in. I think there's some little screws way down in here. Well, you know, if the guys at Lionel watch this stuff, they'll say, that's old hat, this stuff is easy. But you know, you open something up for the first time, live on video, you try not to ruin your equipment, as well as you're trying to show something to somebody. Okay. That whole assembly now seems like it's be careful here, because there's something on the edge. Oh, okay, 3 little holes and little gaskets up here. It's divided down the center here, and the screws were through here and just up into the top under the shell. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off. All right, let's try the oil first. So we need to get in there. We need to get in there and get the impeller off. So this is being held on by these little screws. Also, I'm trying to keep my screws in some kind of order over here. So when I go to put this back together, I know what I did. Yeah, the Lionel guys are laughing at me. He doesn't know how to take that apart. That's so simple. I've seen it 1,000 times. Yeah. This little impeller is on the shaft. I know it's hard to see. I'm trying to show you guys. It's a little, very carefully, I'm going to try to pry this little impeller up a little bit without breaking anything. Cool. All right. Now, let's hit it with 1 drop of glue. yeah, glue would fix it. 1 drop of oil here. Oh, it's a pretty damn big drop, isn't it? All right, here's what we'll do. Spin that guy around a little bit. Let that go down in there. And then just get any excess off of there if we can. Okay, so I oiled that shaft with a drop of oil, put the impeller back on, and again, I really think you need to make sure there's a gap in here. Yeah, there needs to be some kind of a gap in there. I don't know how much. Of course, you don't want it to hit the inside of this thing, the shroud, but you need to set a gap in there. Okay. Helps to have a magnetic screwdriver for this stuff. When I put this back in here. Because it's a metal shell, so I'm going to assume that they have those little gaskets on there because it's a metal shell to make good contact. All right. Keep the smoke going where it's supposed to go. There we go. Okay, let's take it over to layout and try it. Can you hear it? Still making that whiny noise. It's not as bad as it was though. You know what? That is just too annoying, and that didn't get any better. And unless I mess something up in there with the impeller, I'm gonna have to swap that motor out. Darn it. I'm gonna try to get these off without causing too much problems here. My replacement motor here. I'll mark the bad one with a dot so I don't get them confused. I've done that before. Because I'll just tin up the end of the motor wires here with a little solder. Make it a little simpler. Okay. Back to this again. Here again, there's two really tiny screws here. Well, look at that. Now I didn't watch what I was doing, and I really didn't anticipate this. I'll have to go back probably and spin through the video. The bad motor with the dot on it has horizontal screws, holes, and the ones they sent me have diagonal. And you can order different motors, but when I looked this up online, it showed diagonal. Now, luckily, I think, I'm going to have to run the video back and look, but I think, depending on how this was on here, because they put different holes in this plastic mount, you may be able to turn it to whichever way you need. There's a tiny little plus by this terminal, which should be the positive. So I had to run the video back and see how I had this set up on here. And after I ran a battery through some wires and saw that the motor was spinning clockwise with the impeller on it, and I figured out that this one was a positive, and then I realized there was a little dot here. marked white. So I think my guess is the white, there will either be a little positive or a white dot indicating the positive terminal, which is where the red goes. And also, I believe, we're going to find out here shortly, but looks like you can sort of, if you have one of these brackets that has 4 holes in it instead of 2, then I suspect you can go with a diagonal screw holes, and it'll be interchangeable with one with the horizontal screw holes. We're going to find out. I had already put a little dot of oil on there. So now we're back to this situation where we're trying to push this on but leave a gap. And I guess as long as it doesn't hit on the inside of here when it spins, we should be okay. Okay, so we got him in there. Okay. The top of this thing, there are 2 screws, and they're holding the resistor here, and this one screw holds this assembly down. So now I can look at this batting in here, and my guess is this batting should not be all smashed down, but rather fluffed up a little bit, as long as it's inside here. While I have it open, I'm going to hit it with a little smoke fluid here. Saturate that nicely. Something you really can't do when the thing's open, when the thing's not open. All right. I'm going to try to put this back together. That resistor, get him to seat in that batting real nice. Then put the screw back in. Put this guy back on top. Well, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm going to really fix this thing up, make it smoke nice, or if I'm going to completely damage it and it's never going to smoke again. We'll find out, huh? For this, we'll know in a second. Okay, slide the shell back down and then take it over to the layout and see what we got. Okay, well, it smokes really well, I can tell you that. Holy crap. Okay, so I can still hear the smoke fan motor. I don't know if you can hear that. That high pitch. Sorry, but the air handler and the furnace over here in the basement is running. But can you hear that pitch? So it's not completely silent by any means, but it's not making any vibrations. And once realize that the sounds are off on the locomotive as well. So I'll consider it fixed. Man, that thing is putting out some smoke. Let me tilt this back and show you in the basement here. I think I have to turn it off. Don't want the smoke detectors to go off. The only thing I can attribute that to is playing with that batting and saturating it real nice in there with some smoke fluid. But that's kind of ridiculous. That's MTH level smoke there. That's beyond MTH level. Okay, guys. I'm going to consider this one repaired for now. And everything's back together.
We're on the move. Over.
And I know the smoke's working real well. And see, when the sounds are running on the engine, I can't even hear the smoke fan unit. Yeah, I'm going to consider this one a success. Had a couple setbacks, but along the way. Had a couple setbacks along the way, but right now she's working pretty good. Okay, well, I hope this helps somebody out. At least, if nothing else, maybe it'll give somebody some confidence to very carefully open up their engine and look in there. I mean, you can do some damage, and if you're not comfortable, surely don't do it, but if you don't mind tinkering and you want to be careful, the worst part I feel over and over is, the shell. There's nowhere to grab it. You end up grabbing it by the handrails. You get the shell. You have to lay it out there on the foam like I did, and once you're inside there, you can poke around a little bit and try not to do too much harm. Man, that thing is really smoking great. Okay, well, let's hope it stays that way. I'm going to park her down here, and I'm going to sign off and go to Beans. See if we can get him to say that.
Tower, taking our break now. Out.
All right, signing off for now, guys.